Hey guys, I don't know if this is working yet, but let's just check it out before we start chatting and tell you what we're doing. Just going to check out, make sure the audio is live. Looks like it's working on YouTube.
If you manage a team,
We've got adverts. That's good. That's good. Don't know if you can hear my voice yet, but feel free to say hi on the YouTube chat if you can hear me. Before we start chatting, sounds like it's working to me. Right, last thing I need to do then. Feel free to tell me on the chat if it isn't working. I just need to drive out onto the track and check the car volume. But basically, what is happening here is I'm trying out the new LMP2 car on iRacing, and hi Mum. And it's just out a couple of days ago. I'm actually having to wear gloves because I've got the steering set really heavy, and this Rosso Sim Racing wheel, beautiful as it is, has stitching on the inside, and it's tearing my thumbs to pieces because it is designed for you to be wearing gloves. So don't normally wear gloves for sim racing, but very, very heavy steering. And having said that, I don't have very heavy steering at all, right? So why do we not have heavy steering? Let's just check that out. Sure, my power cables are in. That's odd. Normally have very, very heavy power steering. Sorry, very, very heavy force feedback, and didn't have anything then. That's odd. Why have we got no force feedback? Bear with me, stream. Just trying to reset the force feedback, see if we can get that to work. Let's try again. Yeah, I've tried the e-stop. Everything seems to be correct, but for some reason I have no force feedback. Let's try again. How bizarre. Okay, might need to reset iRacing, annoyingly. Got no idea why that didn't work. Let's try again. So we'll head back to the test. Yeah, it's happened a couple of times with this wheel. I don't know why. Everything says operational. E-stop is released. High torque mode enabled. Yeah, no force feedback at all, which is bizarre. So we'll try again. Might just need to turn the wheelbase off and on or something. But try the e-stop again. Let's try. Can't drive without force feedback. Let's change to live chat. So guys, this car is really, really cool. It's what we've been waiting for, and is what I'll be driving at the proper Le Mans, as in iRacing Le Mans next year. Let's see if we've got force feedback now. It feels more like it. Yes, right, we have force feedback. Let's try again. So using some go-kart gloves, just to save my thumbs. And we've got the force feedback set pretty high, so you're going to see this is quite physical for me turning the wheel. No karts on iRacing. No. Hi Corey. Hi Lee Henderson. Have I ever used the karts on iRacing? No, there aren't any. There are no karts on iRacing. Lee. Okay, here we go. So let's try this car at Road Atlanta. So the tyre's obviously cold to begin with. You're going to see it's pretty brutal over the curves. Hope you can hear it. Just let the tyres warm up. And hopefully you can see how hard I'm having to work this Rosso Sim Racing wheel. So we're at Road Atlanta. I've actually been to this track once when I was very, very young. Hi Corey, how are you doing? But I never actually went out on the track, we just visited it whilst we were staying in Atlanta. How's the volume? Can you hear the car and hear my voice? Is that all set correctly? So we've got default conditions on iRacing, so everything is like normal. It's not the most grippy it could be. Feels good so far. Blind apex through there. Got enough fuel for probably 5 or 6 flying laps. Yeah, she moves around a little bit. Oh, and I'm locking up a little bit easy there. So let's change the bias. So just move the bias slightly rearward. So my team tell me target lap time is low 1:09s. And we need to do some work with the suspension to make it better over the bumps. You can see she's like really, really bumpy. Feels mega realistic there. Really, really amazing feel through this wheel. So we're using the Simulcube 2 Pro Direct Drive wheel with the Rosso Sim Racing Ferrari GT3 steering wheel. Volume's great. Okay, thanks guys. Thanks for letting me know. Right, so we're looking for a lap time in the 1:09. So mid to low 1:09s is the target at the moment with this setup.
As we're starting to get closer to our pit stop, start thinking about your entry to pit road. We think we might be losing a little bit there.
So down to 1:09.7. Very, very physical. Don't know if you can see how much the wheel's moving around, how much I'm really having to fight it over the bumps. And hopefully you can hear the lovely magnetic paddle shifters on the back of this Rosso Sim Racing wheel. So direct. I messed that up a bit, lost a tenth or two. .109.3. How's the car look so far, guys? Running the full send racing livery that I'll be using here at Petit Le Mans in the next couple of months. Looks quicker than LMP1, Corey, okay. Anyone watching on Facebook or Twitter, obviously if you want to chat, just head to the YouTube channel. That's where the live stream are talking. Right, let's try for another decent lap because that one was rubbish. We are using the baseline setup here. This is the bog standard setup. Very wide through there that time. It's a blind apex on the right and on the left, so it's a blind left apex and then right, so very hard to judge your turning point. Hi Steen, Team Boss Steen. Says LMP1s can do 101 around here, so we're quite a long way off that. Turn my fan up slightly. Sorry, it looks
next time.
Sorry, it looks rubbish with the gloves on, guys, but I have to have something to protect my thumbs. Right, let's try a better lap. Oh, too deep into there. It was a good first corner though. Okay, we'll just try a pit lane entry then on this lap. Josh Flynn, yeah, it's scary. Turn 2 is scary because you just can't see where you go. I don't want to crash with this wheel because if I do it rips your hands off.
But for pitting this time, pit this time.
Right, let's try again. Let's do another run. Thanks for watching live stream. Watching me get to grips with this LMP2 car. So I want to be fast for this Petit Le Mans race. So I need to really get to grips with this track. And this blind turn 2 and 3 needs to just be second nature. It's not really just yet. I think we need to do some work in a moment after this next run on making the car better over these bumps, because you see how it just bounces. And if you catch this curve here, for example, the car just paw pushes. It's like bounce, 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 bounce all the way over this section. So in order to be able to carry more speed through there and keep the power down, well, put the power down, we need some slightly better damping. Like I said, this is on the default setup. I have to say, these new iRacing cars with a direct drive wheel that's set up nicely like this, so nice, so good to drive. It really feels like what you expect the information from the track, through the tyres, through all the steering rack, up to you at the wheel should feel like. Right, so here we go then. Let's do another run with 4 or 5 flying laps. Then we'll start fiddling with the setup. Any tips are greatly appreciated. Front tyre still a bit cold on this lap. You can see we run wide through there. Oh. Yeah, okay, so this lap's a write-off. So really it's lap 3, start of lap 3 that you start having the proper bite through the front tyres. Just whilst we're driving around a bit more gently, let me give you some more information about what I'm running here. So we're running with a Valve Index VR headset, getting 144 frames per second, as you can see. It's a GeForce 2070 Super is the graphics card powering this thing. And it's working well. See, if we have better damping, I could use that bit of curb a bit better as well, although it is an off track. I haven't seen that. So you can use a lot of curb on the left part of the chicane, not so much on the right. Here we go. I'll tell you in a moment, Sim. Oh, too late again. And too quick again into turn 3. Okay, so since this lap's a write-off as well, we'll cruise around. Sim, the wheel is a Simucube 2 Pro. And the steering wheel I'm holding is a Rosso Sim Racing Ferrari GT3 replica, which hopefully you can see on this camera behind me here. And it's very, very nice. It's got the carbon fibre magnetic shifters. Josh Flynn says, need to get yourself an iRacing Alien setup for this car and track. Yeah, I don't know, I mean, where do I get that? If you can point me towards that, that'd be great. We're just using the baseline setup at the moment. Alright, let's try not to screw turn 2 this time.
Some of these guys are going to start to pit, so let's be aware.
Bit more like it. Sim, the upgrade was nice. Lent into the traction control a bit too much there. Should have let the car run a bit wider. Still on course to be my best ever lap though. 3:47 I think is the fastest lap I've done around here. So we're down to a 2:11, that's my quickest lap. Too late turning into the right-hander. Plenty of time to find still. Leaning on the traction control there. $5 a month. Craig Setup Shop. Okay, so there's a few of these different setup places you can go to. I tend to use PDS, Pure Driving School. I don't think there are any setups for this yet on Pure Driving School because it's such a new car. Obviously there's VRS as well. Some people love Craig Setup Shop. Same price for PDS, that's what I use. For all the Formula Renault stuff, that's what I used all year. Right, we might get another lap in. Oh, that's not going to be a good start to the lap. Okay, here we go. Let's try again. Thanks for joining me on this test session, guys. Nice to have the company. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Subscriber numbers really going up a lot at the moment, which is nice. Too quick at the apex, had to run too wide that time, annoying me. Still a decent lap. Not quite the quickest though, annoyingly. Maybe one more? One or two more?
I
That was a 3:27. Too much inside curb. Physical around here though, the heart rate's up. What does everyone think of the steering wheel? The Rosso wheel here is pretty nice. If I get my hands off of it, you can see it better. Way too quick into that. Might get another lap in though before the fuel runs out. That was a good lap until I went too deep into the final chicane.
Hustle around and pit this time. I want you to come around and pit this time. Be careful getting onto pit road down there.
All or nothing lap. See, if we can get the car to ride those bumps better, we'll be laughing. Everybody's still awake. Where can I find some time, guys? Help me out on the chat. Should we try some damper changes? Let's have a look. So we're running the baseline at the moment. God, that car looks cool, doesn't it? Let's try changing the fast bump on the front and the rear. So what I want the car to do is absorb those quick impacts, like the curbs and the sharp bumps. So what we're going to do is we'll make the high-speed damping 2 clicks. We're going to go 2 clicks because I want to be able to feel the difference. On the front, and I know we shouldn't do... Oh, that's the rear. So, okay, so we'll do the front and the rear. We'll do 2 clicks on the front as well. Okay, let's try that and see how it affects it. If we even notice it. And just for reference, actually, let's just look at what the lap times were over a stint. So it's like 109.2, 3, 5. We did a 3 there, so it's kind of mid to low 109s when the laps are going well. So let's try that. Let me just check the streams are working on the other channels. Check is working on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, guys. If you're on Twitter, it's just my name. Yep, looks like we're running. And 2 people have liked it. That's nice of them. Anyone talking on Facebook? Guys, if you are watching on Facebook, head across to the YouTube channel so I can actually talk to you. Hey guys, hey Facebook watchers. Right, let's do some laps with this changed damping, see if it's any better. Just explaining why I'm wearing gloves. I think I look really rubbish and geeky wearing gloves on a sim, but it's because this wheel is very, very firm. And we've got stitching, and it's tearing my thumbs apart, and it hurts. So we're wearing gloves because of that. Right, let's try slightly softer high-speed damping. And we'll give it 2 laps for the tyres to warm up before we start making any kind of verdict. What I want the car to do is absorb the bumps as we go over them with the front tyres, and then also absorb them with the rears. So we can put the power down. I mean, straight away we spun, but I don't think that's to do with the damping. I think it's probably just cold tyres. So that's just... Nope, okay. That didn't work. Let's try again. So we want to be able to ride the curbs with the front and the rear, and it just to be a bit more stable. But like I said, we need to judge after we've done a couple of laps. I've got some plans with the Camber as well. Because this track has a lot of low-speed corners. So it might be nice to have less camber. Because the car's not leaning over as much in those low-speed corners anyway. So certainly no kind of improvement, no positive improvement yet. We know that the first flying lap the tyres are too cold anyway. Oh, wrong gear. Okay, so it's really from this lap onwards where we should expect to see a change, if there is one. Wow, too deep into turn 3 again. Still very bouncy over the curbs. Reserve judgment for a couple more laps because I've obviously not driven it very well on these.
Good job, man. Keep hauling out. Start spotting that entrance.
What I'm going to say is, on current evidence, if there is any change, it isn't positive. Because I'm nowhere near the lap times that I was doing before. So we're going to have 4. Another 4. I do seem to be getting a consistently better exit out of that hairpin, but I think maybe that's because I got a bad one originally.
Be pitting here in a couple.
It's going to be a 3. Really horrible and wide through there.
Pit this time, pit this time.
We can do one more. So another 4. So at least we're kind of consistently in the 4s and 3s. Okay, so once that settled down, that was like 4, 4, 3, 4, 4. Let's just check those out. So yeah, so once I stopped driving terribly, we did a 4, 4, 9, 4, 8, 3, 5, 4, 7, 4, 8. So 4, 9, 4, 8, 4, 7, 4, 8. So we were within 100th of a second on 4 of those laps. So at least it's consistent. I'm not going to change that back. I'm going to leave that change. And let's adjust something extra. Let's do the camber. So I want more rear stability on exits and over the bumps. And at the moment the tyres are angled like this. Probably because the setup is designed for tracks that maybe have more high-speed corners. So let's... I actually think this setup is one that I already changed the camber on. That's interesting. Hi Michael Kutaja. Cheers. Getting way more kudos for that Formula Renault Championship than I thought. Let's look at the tyre temperatures first, and then we'll look at the camber. Cut some corners maybe. No, that won't help. That will not help. So we're still getting a lot hotter on the inside. 10 degrees hotter on the inside than we are on the outside. And similar on the front. So let's just change the rear camber a little and see whether that helps. So we'll go down 2 clicks on the rear, 1 click on the front. We've already disconnected the rear anti-roll bar. Let's have slightly softer front anti-roll bar. And let's go with that. Okay, so, I mean, you shouldn't really change that many things at once, but it's okay. We're just trying. So I've got a good level of consistency with that setup. So let's just see. So what this should give us is, ideally, better traction out of the slow corners. We might have gone too far. We might not have enough tread on the floor when we're really leaning over in some of the high-speed corners now, but let's see. So we'll ignore the first 2 laps, as always, because the tyres are cold. So we've softened the front anti-roll bar, made the front slightly more compliant, and we've changed the camber on the front and the rear to flatten the camber off, make the tyre a bit flatter in the lower speed corners, so we're not leaning over having to lean over onto it as much. Should be more tread on the floor more of the time. So thanks for joining us, Michael Kutajar. So it's corners like this that our camber change should help. So we know this lap the tyres are too cold. Whoa, whoa, and that camber change was always going to make things worse in the high-speed corners.
Get off, 1 lap at a time. Get back in that rhythm, my man. Get that line right.
But that's okay, the tyres are still cold. So basically what happened there is, because that was a corner where you do need camber, the car's leant over and it's found that there's not enough tread on the floor. But let's just give it a couple more laps chance. That won't have helped the grip level by scrubbing off a load of rubber, but let's just keep it going. And guys, like I said, if you're on YouTube, do me a massive favour and like and subscribe. That would be awesome. And then more people will see the good videos I do. The car definitely feels better through that section. Let's see what it's like when we're on hot tyres. Not the quickest way through that was a bit too wide. So this is a rubbish lap, obviously.
Oh, 5 away. Make sure your switches are correct.
See how that camber change has helped the drive off of the hairpin there. Yeah, Steen, it's going well. We've changed a couple of things. I'll talk you through them in a moment. So as you can see, Steen, lower camber on the rear really helps to drive off of the slow corners. So we got down to a 2.63 on this lap. It's not my fastest still, so it's not like it's an amazing change. And this lap wasn't very good, but we'll try again on this one. So we've softened up the high-speed damping a bit, reduced the front anti-roll bar by 1 click, and taken quite a lot of camber out of the rear. I think what we do after this run is we go back to the default setup. And see how much my driving has changed.
Doing a good job. We've been here in a couple.
And see whether some of the difference is just from being better at the car and the track.
This time, buddy. Hit this time. Hit this time. Pit road this time. Wave at him.
So on average, that probably was the quickest run we've done. Got a couple of 2s, a couple of 3s. Let's have a look at that. But I'm not convinced. Well, the lower... Well, we're on low fuel, really, Steen. So, I mean... We're on like 7 laps of flyers, really, before we run out. So we did a 4... sorry, no, we didn't. We did an 8, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2. So 5, 4, 3, 2. I mean, we're in the low 109s, but... Yeah, I'm going to save that, bank that as like baseline 2, and go back to the normal baseline and see whether we find some time. But I mean, I'm pretty consistently down in the low 109s. Let's try again. What's the time? How long till the Grand Prix? Got some time. One more run maybe, and we'll go settle down for the Formula 1. Fill it up fully. Steen, let me just try this same as I've been doing, and then we'll fill it up fully. I'm just going back to the standard baseline. How much fuel do we actually have there? Yeah, so this is just baseline low fuel now, basically. I'd say the car feels better on this baseline than it does on my tweak setup. Obviously that lap was rubbish, but now the tyres are warm, let's try it for a couple of laps. Quite a lot slower actually. Quite a lot slower, weirdly. It feels quicker, but at the moment it's slower.
Alright, we're going to start spotting that entry. Start spotting that entry.
I mean, that is way slower. So it feels more responsive, but more flighty and darty, and more bouncy over the curves. Which is what we were trying to fix with my other setup. Yeah, I'm actually a lot slower with this setup. Although that exit was better. Much slower through the first section. They were quicker at the end of the lap. Interesting.
Going to be pitched here in a couple of laps, just be aware.
Wide through both of those, that was bad. So I've had a few 109.4s on this run, but this one's bad.
Bring it around and pit this time, bud, pit this time.
One more flare. Wide through there as well. This is a really bad lap. Oh, that was the grass. Well, we won't see that last lap then. Okay, so let's have a little look at that stint. It certainly didn't have the same peaks, did it? It wasn't as quick on the best lap. There were sections of the track that were better, but overall. So what do we do? We did an 8, 4, 4, 4, 8. And before we did an 8, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2. There's not loads in it, but I'd say my setup was quicker. So there we go, guys. That is that's the testing I'm going to do for today. I'm probably going to leave it at that. Thanks very much for joining and watching. And enjoy the Formula 1 that's only about half an hour's time. Have a good afternoon.